Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now July 1st of 2023. The Dial of Destiny has been out for roughly 2 days now, and give or take that the box office results are coming in at a very well-paced manner. We did learn that Friday night's opening was around 24 million, and that goes to show you that it's very similar to The Flash's opening, which really isn't a good sign for Lucasfilm right now, as they embrace the numbers for Saturday, today, and tomorrow, Sunday, which by the way, we'll be getting all those results by Monday to see exactly how the weekend worked out. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on here with the Dial of Destiny between Spielberg and George Lucas. Now, we know that Spielberg has really been promoting Indy 5 for quite a while now. And give or take, you know, there's a lot of things happening with Kathleen Kennedy trying to upsell this movie and really trying to essentially bring fans into the theaters as much as possible because they know that they're not getting butts in the seats. And by the way, guys, I would love for you to participate below in the comments what your movie theaters look like. If you go ahead and search it up online through Fandango or movie tickets, how filled or empty they really are. That would be great help for everybody to really get a true idea, an honest idea, of how well this movie is doing before those box office numbers roll in. So, on top of this, what's interesting about what Spielberg had to unveil about Indy 5 and about George Lucas has a lot to do with something specific related to Kathleen Kennedy. Now, with Indy 5, The Dial of Destiny now out in theaters, Disney is heavily trying to upsell the film with overreaching box office expectations. However, recently Steven Spielberg was able to confirm a certain truth about George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy involving Indy 5. Spielberg delivered the following. Well, one thing that Kathy really requested that I didn't really agree with was that for George to not visit the sets of the fifth film. She didn't really want him there and his ideas spilling into the creative process of this thing. Now, I can say that George did not want to be there with us anyway to begin with because we didn't really get his true blessing on the film's ending. But she didn't want him around for the on-location shots we were going for as well as in studio. Kathy believed that if George were around on set, that it would only encourage others like Mangold and Phoebe Waller to change their story around drastically to the point where their original vision would be unrecognizable. Now, by the way, guys, the reason why he mentions that Phoebe Waller-Bridge was involved in the storytelling process there, she contributed to the show, or to the movie, I should say. And though she did not write anything on paper, let's be clear about that, she only contributed to the story. So basically she gave Mangold a lot of ideas, told him what to do, because she's a creator herself. Mangold respected that and used some of her ideas, similar to what happened with Bond 25. A lot of Phoebe's ideas were thrown in there as well, such as the 007 moniker being applied to a woman. That was her idea, by the way. But what's interesting here is what Spielberg puts out in the public is that George did not approve and did not give his blessing on the ending of this movie. Now, we've talked about this. There were 6 total endings that were being tossed around for Indy 5, one of which was going to be a true homage to the best movies, in my opinion, were Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, but it was honestly also going to pertain to Temple of Doom as well, with Ke Huy Quan playing Short Round, appearing as his older self in China, you know, reconciling with, of course, Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones, and followed up by a plane sequence flying into the sunset, where both Indiana and Henry Jones are sitting in a biplane-like aircraft. I say a biplane-esque aircraft, where they're sitting beside each other, flying into the sunset, where Henry Jones is nothing more than a vision in Indy's mind. That was the initial idea at one point, and that got sabotaged by Kathleen Kennedy and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Not a big surprise there, and that's also why George had issues with the ending that they chose, because of what it deals with heavy CGI and, you know, lackluster storytelling, and a real last-minute awe moment to kind of get fans, or attempting to get fans to get teary-eyed. Moving on. Now, Spielberg goes on to elaborate further. I know I myself wasn't on set all that much as I was reported to be, but I did pop in now and again quite a bit to advise things moving onwards. I spoke to George and he didn't really love the ending that we chose. He actually disagreed with our approach and felt it was too out of place for INDY and too over the top. But we trusted our gut and moved on anyways with the ending that we desired. I know Lucas wanted the original characters back as cameos like Willie, Mutt, Shorty, and all the others, and we did try to make that happen, but in the end, it just wasn't working out for all of us. Kathy and James had a vision of their own, and I had to respect that. So, Spielberg, again guys, he's making it very clear that he basically just took it and allowed Kathy to do whatever she wanted to do, even though he was executive producer on this thing. He could have probably, if he really wanted to, raised his voice and convinced them, like, this is not the way to go. Things need to be changed, the pacing needs to be completely resurfaced. By the way, a lot of you have been telling me that, for those of you that did see the film, that the pacing in this movie is just awful. You know, it's too convoluted, it's too contained with unnecessary sequences of chases. But that's just the beginning of things. That's just the beginning of what's really going on here with Indiana Jones 5. The acting and the cringeworthy dialogue by Helena and stuff like that is another problem on top of the list. So, look, I mean, we know that the Rotten Tomatoes scores right now, they're sitting around, last time I checked, 88, 89%. Maybe it's higher at this moment, but that just goes to show you that we gotta wait for that Metacritic score, I feel, to really get a true idea of where this film sits for the audience, because I know nobody, and I know a lot of people, I know nobody that has actually said a good thing about this movie. And a lot of them were casual fans, a lot of them knew nothing about Indy 5, others were hardcore fans. Nobody that I know personally, and that's just me by the way guys, liked this movie. That's just my experience. And that is a telltale that the average is quite up there in the negatives that outweigh the positives, I think. You know, so I think that at the end of the day, you also have to take into account not everybody is going on these review sites to post a review. A lot of people tend to not do that, you know, so you're also missing out on those people chiming in. So, anyways, to conclude things, he goes on to end things by saying this: it took time to accept George not giving us his blessing with that ending. And sure, it has a heartwarming moment toward the final frames, but he didn't really agree with everything that came before that. Of course, we can't give anything away just yet, but there you have it. Now, Spielberg, obviously, I think he really also backstabbed George here. What he should have done was, he should have brought George on set and said, Kathy, you know, you gotta really make things work. Allow him to see what's going on here. Even though he doesn't want to be here, give him that opportunity at the very least, you know? So, Kathy did the same exact thing with Leslie Headland by restricting him from the sets of The Acolyte, as well as Skeleton Crew with John Watts. Same exact thing happened there. Not a big surprise. Guys, I would like to hear your take on this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not one from night